I bet with rabbit ears like that, you must get a great signal on the television. Or the better to conduct lightning. Lightning. This guy bugs me. Hello everybody, Sparkster1701 here. And we're taking a look at another Legacy Evolution figure, one that's been very popular and hard to find on the shelves. This is Shrapnel. Shrapnel, of course, is based on the Generation 1 Insecticon. It had been suspected that we would get all of the Insecticons. Since last year, when the Legacy line was out, we did get Kickback, so we have been expecting the others. Hasbro indeed has not disappointed. Shrapnel has been released, and Bombshell is in the works to be coming out shortly. So we will have modern takes on the classic Insecticons. And of course, like we do here on this channel, since we're predominantly a Generation 1 era, it would be nice to show off how he looked back in 1985. As you can see, it is a radical difference between the two, but he does carry over a lot of the design elements. This modern Shrapnel seems to be more based closer to his cartoon appearance rather than the Generation 1, but it does carry over some of the hallmarks for it, since a few of the stickers are represented as painted details on the new figure, so that is a nice touch. Like we got here the bit of blue that's just below the head. That was always a nice detail. We got the ribbing detail here on the side near his arms. That was represented as a sticker on the original. And of course we've got the yellow stripes on his feet. And of course we got a bonus thing to show off to all of you. We might as well do something a little bit fancy here. As you know, at the start of the video you saw the box for the modern figure. Well, here you go as a bonus treat. There's the box for the Generation 1 version. So you can kind of get a glimpse as to how they were marketed on the shelves. Back in the day, in the 1980s, the Transformers were put out in color-coded boxes, so you knew automatically what side they were on. Since this one is in purple, that would definitely signify a Decepticon. Even with it having the logo and saying Decepticon right here on the top of the box. And of course, on the top of the box, we'd get a brief showing of how to change him from the bug to robot. And the sides would have similar art showing both the robot and the toy. And this one apparently had the price tag over here. This one was apparently sold from a Sears store. The bottom has the same detail, but it also includes a listing of all the parts that came with him. And the back had a advertising mural, the robot point for mail-away offers, and his tech spec bio. The modern toy is in a strangely shaped box. It has no plastic in here, because Hasbro's going with minimal plastic. The top has legal stuff up here for parents, and apparently something you can scan with your smartphone up here. The right side of the box shows the robot himself and a close-up of his face. Because on the front it has him in his insect mode. The side of the box features half the mural, since you'd need another toy of similar size that would have the other half. The bottom just has legalese. And the backside shows the toy in his robot and alternate modes. And a little bonus feature. And a lot of legalese down here at the bottom. So, quite a difference 40 years almost makes, isn't it, folks? There you go. One last look at the two of them together. Alright, we're done with you. Alright, we'll start by taking a look at his accessories. We'll start with his gun. In his Generation 1 era, the gun was described to be a grenade launcher. So definitely a nasty weapon. And this one, of course, plugs into his hand, unlike the original, which just slid over his wrist. And then to go along with it as well, Shrapnel comes with 2 insect legs that just plug into the back of his arms. They are exactly the same, so there's no real worries about that. And as you briefly glimpsed at on the packaging, they can be attached to his gun. Take one of them and you attach it underneath the gun. And then you attach the other one to the back of the gun like so. And then you can just arrange his arms in such a way that he can hold on to the weapon with both hands. And as you saw, it just went flying. Get that back in there and then readjust it like so, and there we have it. Gives him a rather interesting little weapon, doesn't it? Alright, get that out of the way here. Then we'll take a look at Shrapnel's articulation. His head should be able to at least turn. Yeah, it does turn. The head turns from left to right. Unfortunately, it's not on a ball joint, so it won't move up and down. His arms can be raised up about so far. And his arms do rotate at the shoulder all the way. Just have to move it to keep it away from his antenna. Shrapnel here can bend his arm at the elbow 90 degrees. And he does have a swivel at the bicep. So he has G.I. Joe style battle grip. You can twist him here at his hips. So he has a little bit of dance moves going for him. You can spread his legs apart into almost a full splits. You can turn, he's got a thigh cut, so his legs do turn like that. You raise his leg at the hip 90 degrees and bend his leg at the knee 90 degrees. So all in all, pretty decent articulation for him. And of course, before we transform him, we should give a little background data on Shrapnel. Shrapnel here specializes in electronic warfare due to the fact that he can conduct lightning, especially generating it out of his antenna or even through his hands. With that, that makes him the most powerful of the Insecticons, especially of the 3 mainline Insecticons, but it's also implied he's more powerful than the deluxe Insecticons that were released the same time in the Generation 1 era. The deluxe Insecticons were toys Hasbro purchased from Bandai, so their inclusion in the canon is debatable. Takara wouldn't allow them to be promoted in the cartoon, so only theirs ended up being shown. And while Shrapnel and his Insecticon buddies were famous for pretending to be loyal to the Decepticon cause, they were really in it for themselves. They were apparently aboard the Ark when it made its... No, they were aboard the Nemesis, rather, when it made its fateful journey to battle the Ark in space. However, the Insecticons bailed out of the ship and crashed on prehistoric Earth. Without any way to make contact or even knowing what became of their allies, they adapted themselves as insects and lived a decent life until they finally met up with Megatron. And while they were willing to work alongside him, they weren't fully committed to him as their leader. The Insecticons are indeed a terrifying group, but they'd been more terrifying if they used their powers more for how they were intended to be used, rather than to play. Shrapnel, of course, spoiler alert for those of you who haven't seen the animated film, but Shrapnel would be one of the Decepticons severely wounded during the Battle of Autobot City, and would be cast out to die in space. He would be found by Unicron and would be reformatted into a sweep. Alright, let's get ready and transform Shrapnel. First thing we do is we come to these little silver protrusions at the front, and we're going to fold them down so they hide his face. Just like that. And then we come down here to his legs, and we will fold the feet down. And then next we will turn him around at his hips, like so. And then we'll come down here to his legs. We're going to open these panels up that are on right above his feet. So now with those opened up, we'll bend him at the ankle and hip and knee so that way it gets his legs folded up and inside. Once that's been done, you can press the legs together like that. And once we've got him like that, raise his arms out a bit so that you can fold his hands inside the forearm. You'll see here that there's a couple of posts protruding out from where the fist goes in, and they should line up with a couple of holes on the legs. So straighten him out as necessary and get them lined up and in, just like that. Then we come down here, we're going to fold out these insect legs. And then we can bring his antenna in a little bit close, bring the pincher in a little bit more. And then of course finish off the look. We'll attach the purple insect legs right here into his arms. Get back here. And of course, for some optional fun, you can mount the gun on his legs. But there you go. Shrapnel is now into his insect mode. And of course, here he is next to his Generation 1 counterpart. So you can see it does retain quite a lot, actually, of the design from the original. So kudos to the designers for taking a good long look at the original and figuring out how to make it, how to put all that back into it. Getting down now to my thoughts. I like this version of Shrapnel. Now, there have been many that have come and gone over the years, so he hasn't really had the best track record, especially the smaller ones that many of us more famously remember. But this one is definitely an improvement and a step up from the Generation 1 original. It's certainly one that I would recommend that if you're a fan of the Insecticons, you're definitely going to want this one in your collection. At any rate, that's my review of the Legacy Evolution version of Shrapnel. I hope you all enjoyed it. Please do remember that if you like the content we feature on this channel, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. This is Sparkster1701 saying I'll catch you all later.